Greeting YouTube viewers and welcome to another episode of Portuguese Utopia. Today we are in the front seat of my smart car, or I should say the Portuguese Utopia studio, because this is where I do most of my filming. Today's little episode is just an update really of what's been going on. Unfortunately, the COVID is restricting everyone's travel and plans, so we're locked here really. I've got a couple of projects on the go which I'm trying to get myself enthusiastic about getting on with. The first one is a stairwell, well, a spiral staircase, which really needs sorting out outdoors, and I can't be struggling with it indoors. So it will come later on in the year, because I don't intend to go over to Portugal for quite a few months yet, even if we're allowed to. Just don't feel safe at the moment with the COVID restrictions, etc. The other one I will share with you a little bit. It's an ongoing project. It's basically my hot water system, similar to my electric one, going off grid. I want to get it going up and running in England first before I take it over to Portugal. And this one's I don't know how many episodes it'll take to do it, but I can't show it all in one go. So this one shows the basic framework and the idea behind it. Okay, so we'll let you have a look at it and see what you think. Cheers for now. Now today's winter project, since we can't get to Portugal and we sit and twiddle our thumbs on these cold winter mornings, I'm actually going to start attempting to look at these water heater. Now this system runs off 3 glass, not quite sure what they call them. I will do. I'll find out what the correct terminology is for them. But basically the sun bounces off the silver reflective bit at the back, and then it goes through the tube, and the tube is full of glycerin, I believe, or something like that. Then it heats up this tank here. Now I'm not sure whether the pipe, they're connected together, and the water system runs through it. Now, I'm not really sure whether it's top or bottom, to be honest with you, until I look into it. But I'm not too worried at this stage. It's just a case of seeing what I've got, really. Now, with regards to this, it came out of a house in England, and all the bits are here, and it's even got a gas converted to cylinder backup for the water, and all the tank work. There's the tank. And there's a little not quite sure what they call that one, a balancing thing up that for your system to make sure that it's all pressurised safely. Now this don't mean anything to me at all, but I've got a good friend, Rob, who's said he'll help me set it all up. Now I intend to set it all up on a rolling trolley so that it works here, and I can replicate it over in my house in Portugal. To be fair, the guys that took it out the house have sort of marked up on the tank where each pipe where it goes, but to me as a total novice, it's a bit gobbledygook until I see it sort of linked in together, because I never saw it in the house before it got taken out. But the plumber man who took it out, he was pretty good. We're marking things up and cutting bits back so that there's something to attach to. But it's getting the general gist of how it all goes together. And what I want to try and do is similar to what I did with my solar setup, which is still here, or part of it is. It's all on a board, ready to go. I've got half of the batteries here, and I've got the other half at Portugal, and I've got half the solar panels in Portugal, and I've got the other half at my house. Again, I know how to set all that lot up now that I've seen it like this, but to do it similar to this for a layman is quite good really, because you just got to replicate it over the other side. Now with the electrics, I am having a friend come over there to sort of check it all out before we press the button, but I feel confident that I can get that up and running. With the hot water system, again, it's all about trying to save money over there, etc. We have the sun, so let's make use of it. And I've heard these are very, very good. They get very hot, If you can roll a hose pipe out in Portugal on the ground and the water comes out of it too hot, and you have to wait till the latter part of the day, that proves how much water can be heated up just through the sun. When you've got something like these panels doing it, they're getting ridiculously hot temperatures. So consequently, use the sun, get it warm, get it into a tank, and then away you go. If on the days when it's cloudy or you can't get so much sun and it's obviously not producing so much hot water and your tank's getting a bit low, you have the backup Worcester boiler gas, which will fire it up and it'll take it to what they call the second stage of heating. So I'm more than happy that this will be adequate for what I want, because to start with I won't be going over there in the winter months particularly, so I should get all the other bits and bobs set up and slowly ease my way into a winter, I think, because I don't plan to be moving over there full time for a long time, but I do plan to have extended holidays there, which some of them will go into the autumn months or spring months, but I won't be going over there and having a full year there all year round, not to start with. We'll see how we get on before we go down that. Now, going back to this system, all I intend to do really is to use this steel structure, put some wheels on it to make it movable, so I can roll it out here for testing purposes, because even in winter with any sort of sunshine it will work, it will produce it. But I can't set it up permanent down here because it's not fair on my mother. It's my mother's garage that I'm borrowing. I always have done over the years, and it's not fair. She doesn't drive now and she ain't got a car, but I still find it a bit unfair to have everything in here cluttering up. So the sooner I can get this made and done, the sooner I can get it in the van and basically out the way. But again, with the van, I can't take it anywhere at the moment, not with the COVID restrictions and Brexit and all that that's going on at the moment. So I need all that to settle down before I consider actually getting everything to Portugal. But this system isn't up and running at all in England yet, so I won't even consider taking it over there until I know it's working. Although it was working on the house that it came off. Right, that'll do for the moment. Still a bit tentative because I'm still not 100% sure whether sitting in there they're fine or whether they need a bit more support. That's why I was a bit hesitant bringing it out, but I may put a bar across the bottom here just to give that a little bit more support on the front there, because I don't want them slipping out. I think there's enough weight in there to do it, or perhaps even replace it with a bigger angle might be a way around it. But this is only a sort of a temporary thing. But as you can see, that part worked quite well, that slider, although I've got to push it back up at some point. I don't think realistically at the moment I'm going to bother with it, because it won't matter the angle of dangle in the English sunshine or winter weather. I do know that when it was on this house, it was taken off in December, and it was a cold day, but the tubes did warm up quite nicely. Now, I'm not pretending that these are going to be scalding hot, because we've got absolutely no sun at all. It's your typical bleak midwinter at the moment, but I'm quite pleased with what I've done so far. Now, the principle now after this is to build in at the back here the pipe work that's needed and the tank and all the other little bits and bobs that I need to put in there, including, if I can manage it, the gas backup system as well, or the afterburner if you like. If it don't get warm enough, you can go on to cylinder gas, which it was all part of the system originally, so I'm hoping to get it all done like that. We will see. Right, that will do for today's footage, I think. All being well, and all today I want to do is to get this laid out in some sort of order of how it will work, because this is obviously only, this is going to attempt to be a mobile one. The Rob's going to tell me whether I can do it like this or not, but I won't. I'm not knowledgeable enough to go over to Portugal and just assume that I can just stick it here, there and anywhere and it'll work. So I've got to know what I'm doing with it, because I think I said before it's come out of an house working, but obviously it's, all the bits have got chopped out, and I'm trying to decide what I need on this particular one. We've got obviously the heater, a radiator because I'm going to need some warmth around the house. I've got the balancing tank, whatever they call that, various pumps and pipe work, and electrics, and the actual tank itself. Now I know what some of these do, but I don't know what all of them do, so I've got to wait for Rob to try and explain it a bit more. Even to the degree of having a little cold water tank there. I want to try and get it all on this trolley, which is movable, but it might be that I need to put it on two separate ones and pull one side by side with the other one, because it's getting a fairly big lump. I'll come out so you can have a look at it. It's sort of 4 foot, 1.2 metres across. Well, I think it's 8 foot in the length, and I'm not dragging it out today because obviously we're not going to gain out today because it's too wet and dull overhead. But the idea is that we can clear the garage for testing purposes a bit later on in the year when the weather is a bit better. I think it can. Reading up on it, you can actually get it to perform even with cloud, but obviously it won't be as efficient. So at the moment all it is about getting it laid out on there in the right order, and then I can replicate it when I take it over to Portugal. Okay.